Hello, how you doing? I'm up in Aberdeenshire again today. Now those people who watch my channel regularly will know that my daughter moved up here last summer, and what that means for me is I've got access to a completely new area that I know very little about. I'm only up here for 4 days again with the family, so it's not really a photography trip. However, on these little trips I always try, even if I'm not taking photographs, to get some information that could perhaps help me when I'm up here for a longer period. So I know I'm up here for a week in the summer. Now, if I can scout some locations out, it means it's going to save me a lot of time in the summer, and potentially I can drop straight onto some decent wildlife spots. Now, as today we're on a family walk, we've got a 6-mile circular walk to do, and it goes around one of the Scottish nature reserves. Looking on the web, I do know that there's a population of red squirrels here, so what I've actually come to do is I'm going to keep hopping off the path into the woods and try and find some places that show signs of red squirrels or anything else. And when I do that, what I'm going to do is set up a trail camera or a couple of trail cameras on that area, knowing that in a couple of days' time I can come and pick them back up before I go home. And potentially that might give me some clues for areas to come back to later in the year, in the summer and in the autumn. So that's the plan today. I'm going to get off into the wood here. They've just stopped for lunch, so I can have a scoot into the woods here and see if I can find any signs of any wildlife. Again, those who've watched my videos recently, I did do a video on sort of starting out in tracks and signs, which is useful for this sort of thing because you've got a massive area. You know, how do you pick out of all this woodland that all looks pretty much the same where you're going to put a trail camera? So we'll go off down into the wood and see if I can find an area, and then I'll come back to you. Right, so immediately I've just come down into the wood here. It's absolutely stunning, to be honest. I'm just going to turn you around and show you this that's on the floor. This looks quite old actually, but this is obviously a scat from something like a stoat weasel, pine marten. It's one of the carnivores. You can see it's got this. I'll be eating my sandwiches in a minute, so, but I will try and show you. If you look on the end, it's a classic fur on the end there, coming through to that taper. It would be great if they had pine martens here. One of the things I am finding a lot of, there's a little sort of raised ridge here. I don't know whether you can see it behind me. And I've walked along that ridge and there's literally, must be a dozen piles of feathers. Look, there's another one in front of me here. I'll just show you. Now, there's actually a male pheasant. Looking at the feathers anyway, there's nothing left of it. Now, what can I sort of surmise from that? Well, for me it looks like, I mean, this is do we think this is goshawk territory? Maybe it is, you know. It's a big, I mean, a pheasant is a big bird for something like a sparrowhawk to tackle. There's loads of pigeons, but that pheasant makes me think that it's something bigger. And really, the only thing I can think of is goshawk. But what's also interesting to me is there's nothing left but feathers. Now, obviously, normally what happens is a bird of prey will take down something like a pigeon, and it'll turn it over, and normally they'll eat the breast meat, and more often than not they'll leave the rest of the carcass. Now, that just makes me wonder if something's then coming along and clearing that carcass up and taking it away. Literally no carcasses or bones from the carcass, just piles of feathers. Now, could that be a fox? Or could it be a pine marten? I don't know. I have to say I haven't done a lot of research on pine martens because it wasn't something I was expecting to potentially bump into. I'd really bought, and I'll show you in a minute when I've set this up, if I can find a suitable area. I'm not finding many cones or anything that have been stripped by squirrels in this area, so That's what I'm looking for to set up, really. And again, an older one this time, more piles of feathers, but nothing else. I mean, it's sounding quite exotic for me now. Pine martins and goshawks, that would be nice. But as I say, really just come to set up for something like red squirrels, because I know there's a population of those here somewhere. As I say, it's a massive wood, but oh, hang on. We got here. Oop. And there's another one. And another one. Right, this is looking good. This is looking good. Potentially then, not seeing anything up in the trees. Let's have a look, see, around this area. Well, that's interesting as well. A bird wing, just a wing. Let's have a look. More cones, loads of cones down here that have been stripped. Another one. Another one. Right. I think this might be a good area to set up for these red squirrels. As I say, if I came back in 2 days' time and this area was swarming with red squirrels all over the peanuts that I'm going to put down, I'd be ecstatic. I'm not really expecting that. The problem you've got is there's a massive area. Although I'm seeing signs on the floor and some of them look fairly fresh, it could be that they've been here a week and the squirrels have moved to a different area of the woodland, you know, where there's more cones or whatever. I don't think it's a massive population. And again, look, there's another. Another pigeon remains. Right, I'll show you what I'm going to set up and then and where I'm going to set the trail camera up, and then we'll take it from there, and hopefully come back in a couple of days. We might have some squirrels on this video or something anyway, but we'll see. But yeah, this looks a suitable place. The other reason I like it, just looking at it here, I'll just show you behind me. There's a rock ridge here, so there's a bit of a banking, and also there's a dead fall of trees. So a load of trees have come down over the years that you can see. And this is just ideal habitat for things like stoats, weasels, I suppose pine martins as well. It's just all fallen down and been left. There's probably little tracks and stuff through here. And it's a really safe place for anything to hide out during the day. Right, let's set this up and I'll get back to you. Right, so I literally have set this up for some impromptu photography if everything went 100% right, which it never does, but if I do come back in 2 days' time, as I say, this place is swarming with red squirrels and they're going absolutely whappy for these peanuts. What I didn't want to do is just set up a feed station with nothing that looks attractive in case I can get some images. I say I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think there's enough time. But what I want to find out is, are they here, or is something here that potentially I can come back in the summer and take some images of, and have an area that I can set up. I can bait early in the week, and then at the end of the week come back and be fairly sure that I'm going to have stuff here to photograph. But a better chance than just doing it blindly anyway. So right, here you've got this lovely mossy log. Now I've not set this up, I've not put it in place, it's been here a long time. It's literally part of the landscape, but it's covered in this lovely green moss. What I've done is I've just screwed this little container to the back, and as I'll show you in a minute, if I walk across there's a clear line through from a little rock formation where I think I can set up some scrim netting or a bag hide or something if need be. to shoot probably about 10-12 metres in this direction. So as I say, if I'd got squirrels coming down to this, it means I could literally, they'd be picking the peanuts up from here, sitting on here, and I can shoot from that direction and get some shots. I'm not optimistic about that, but you know, you've got to prepare for that just in case it happens. I'll just pick you up so you can see. So this is the whole thing. I've put some peanuts spread across here as well, and I've also put some on these rocks in front, just here. Put quite a lot down actually, because I'm not going to be back for 2 or 3 days just before I go home. So I just want to sort of blitz the area a little bit and see if we do get anything coming in. As you can see, there's old pine cones everywhere that have been stripped, so they're obviously here at some point, or they have been. And across here, if I just walk you across here, where I've put all my kit down, I think I can get down in here amongst these rocks, either in this bit here or just across there behind those trees. Might be a good one actually. I can see I could set the camera up, so I'll just show you. So yeah, I reckon I can get in here, and then with the big 600 I'd have a good shot straight through to that that I've set up, that log with all the peanuts on. So yeah, right, so as you can see, shooting from the log there, let me come round here, you might get a better view. Right, so I've got the log here, nice tree here that I think I can set a trail camera up on here, literally on this one here, which is just going to really give me a view of this one log. So a bit of a close-up, but then I think what I'll also do is put one up over here, and that's going to give me a view of this whole area where I've spread the peanuts, and a wider view. So if it, you know, obviously if anything comes on here with that one, I'm not going to pick it up. If it's on here, this one won't pick it up, but I might get some nice views on that one there. So that's the plan. I'm going to get these stuck up, and then we'll just wait and see what happens. Right, I'm back. Literally, I've got about half an hour before I have to scoot back in the car and make the 400-mile journey back home, so haven't really got much time to speak to you. Left these trail cameras out for 3 nights. I was going to leave it out for 2, but I thought I'll leave it out for 3 and get over here early, which I have done this morning, and then pick them up. Disappointingly, there's no squirrels on any of these, as I suspected, because I wasn't quite sure how old these cones were, these strip cones, and with it being a massive area of pine forest, they've literally probably just moved a mile away into another area. They're just not coming down. I haven't seen anything up in the trees. I've been scanning, nothing at all. What I had hoped when we came to this reserve, with it being a proper nature reserve, is that potentially the Wildlife Trust would have some squirrel feeding stations, and in those instances what I try to do is, because I always find the feeding stations are set up for you watching squirrels and getting a view of squirrels. They're not necessarily set up for photography. So what I would probably have done in that instance is set up my own feeding station, probably 100 metres away from the one that they'd set up, just a temporary one. I know the squirrels are going to be coming down to the one they've done, and it means I can set mine up specifically for photography. So, you know, some nice attractive backgrounds and some nice attractive props for them to stand on and stuff like that. But that just wasn't the case here. They're not set up to feed squirrels at all, but I know that there's squirrels here, and as I say, you can see the evidence. It's just, where are they at this time of year? I don't know. But it was worth a try. However, very, very excited for what I did capture on here. Remember, if you remember back to day one, I was saying to you, there's this ridge with all the piles of feathers, as if, and I'm convinced it must be a goshawk, simply by the male pheasant that's obviously been taken down and eaten up there. Piles of feathers, mainly pigeon, but no bodies left at all. So in my mind, as I said at the time, what happens is the bird of prey will take down the bird, it'll eat the breast meat generally, and then when it's full it'll leave it. And I thought something was coming along, sweeping those up, potentially a fox or something, taking those away, the actual body, and just leaving the pile of feathers. I can't wait any longer to tell you, I've caught briefly a pine martin on here. Now I suspect that a pine martin would take away those bodies and basically take them to where it wanted to eat them. And literally on here I've got just a couple of second clip of a pine martin checking these peanuts out. Now that's really exciting for me, because what it means is, and it's exactly what I wanted to happen in a way, I just never expected to get a pine martin. It's the first one I've ever filmed at all in any way, and to do it, you know, off my own, not going to a place where you know that they turn up. So sometimes you'll go to a holiday cottage in Scotland and it'll say, oh yeah, we get pine martins coming into the garden, and you know you can put stuff down and you've got a good chance of getting a pine martin. Here I'm in the middle of nowhere. I've got no intelligence from anywhere else that tells me that pine martins are here. The only thing that tells me is that you've got this lovely deadfall area here that's been here for years. You can see the holes and the runs through it, and it looks ideal for stuff like that. You've got all these dead birds, or the feathers from the dead birds, but no corpses. And you've got some scat that potentially was pine martin as well that I saw on that first visit. So to have that and then set this up, yeah, and as I say, I think now what's going to happen in the summer, I'll come back here and specifically set up for pine martin in this exact spot, because it's obviously part of its territory. A couple of months time, longer days, I might be able to get some shots dawn and dusk. If not, I might be able to even set up a flash system and use flash and come out here at night. But really, really exciting. I can't wait to do it actually. I wish I could do it now, but unfortunately I can't. Just really proved how useful these things are, and hopefully in the summer you'll see a pine martin video. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this short video. It's not the sort of thing I normally do. I normally show you loads of photos. If I've shot any photos while I've been up here, I will stick them on the video on the way out, as well as this footage, this brief footage of a pine martin. But yeah, so excited, so excited. So I'm going home happy. I'll see you for the next video soon. If you've liked this one, please give it a thumbs up, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's free. It's free content, and you know, you'll get notified if you click on that bell every time that I upload content, and hopefully you'll enjoy watching some more in the future. So yeah, I better skedaddle because I'm already late and I'll be in trouble. I'll see you soon.